What's new, everyone? Today I'm going to be going over how to mount the Blink Video Doorbell. So I'm starting this process from after you set it up in the app and you've named your device. You click continue down here. It's going to tell you everything you need: the doorbell kit, the power drill, screwdriver, and tape to mount the template. So let's go ahead and get everything out. Here's the mounting template that they're talking about. Here's wire extenders and here's the hardware. Here are the mounts. Okay, so let's go ahead and walk through how the app tells us to mount it. I'll assume you want it to wire it to existing Chime box. The other option is if you have a digital Chime box. So it just wants you to verify that your transformer is compatible. Most doorbells it is. In rare cases it's not going to be compatible, but most cases it is. Okay, and it just wants you to shock yourself, so if you don't know what you're doing, or if you want to be extra safe, you go ahead and turn off power at the breaker. Okay, you're going to remove your old doorbell. So I'm going to be using this piece of wood to simulate where the doorbell mount is. And the old doorbell has been removed. Okay, so it's asking if we're going to use this wedge adapter. So at my house, I need an adapter so it's facing away from the door instead of, otherwise I'd be facing right at the door, or 90-degree angle to the door, perpendicular. And I want it facing out a little bit. So for right now, I'm going to click yes. Otherwise, you just stick this straight there. So I will come back and we'll go through each scenario. Okay, it says assemble wedge corner, then drill holes through slits. I have that facing the wrong way. Okay, so it says place it to get the desired camera angle. It says to place it about 4 feet or a little less than 4 feet from the ground, and then drill the holes in the actual slits here. So you're going to have 2 holes from before. I recommend just lining it up with 1 hole and drilling a hole in the next one while you're holding that. Let's get out the hardware. It doesn't tell us what bit size to use, so I need to get the screw out and figure that out. So it comes with 2 sets of screws. The ones you're going to be using here are these long ones. These short ones are for attaching the terminals. If you're going into concrete or something other than wood or siding, basically, you're going to use the anchors. You can see that the screw is made to go in the anchor, which is significantly smaller. So you're going to have to select a drill bit based on that size. If you need a drill anchor, I would use this 3/16 here. It's slightly smaller than the anchor, but you want to wedge the anchor in there good. I'm not using the anchor, so I'm going to use this 3/32 here, which is slightly narrower than the width of our screw here, enough for the thread to still stick. If you already have a hole and you're drilling a second hole, I recommend putting the screw in kind of lining it up. Getting it lined up how you want here so it's nice and straight. That second hole is where you want it. And that second hole will be where you want it. I got it lined up, so I'm going to put a hole right in the middle there. Start, I'll flip that out of the way. Now you can go ahead and attach that second screw. I'm not going to tighten it down yet, but let's continue in the app and see what it tells us to do. Screw it in, okay. Alright, now it wants us to attach the wires that will be coming out of the wall here. So you're going to take these, we got a simulated wire here. So those are going to be coming out like so. If your wires look something like this, you'll want to attach the wire extenders. What you'll do is you'll take these wire nuts that came with the screws, you'll slide off the ends of the wire here. I recommend just doing one at a time. So you're just going to line it up right next to that other wire there. Take your wire nut and twist. Make sure that the wire is fully enclosed and just kind of twist until it doesn't want to twist anymore. Do the same thing with the second one. And then when you finish mounting it, if you're using the angle mount, you'll just tuck those in here. They got room. Otherwise, if you're using just the flush mount, you're going to have to make sure that you have room to tuck those back into the wall. So now it wants us to finish connecting the wires to the back plate. That's where these two little screws come into play. I'd start by getting them started first. So I used a number 2 Phillips head to attach those. These are smaller. You'll probably want electronic screwdriver or a number 1 Phillips head. I'm just going to get it started. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way. I'm going to leave room to slide these under. I am going to do both of them. Alright, and this is the top side, so you want to make sure you put it on right, so it's easier to put on when you're twisting it over back to the doorbell there. It doesn't matter which one goes where. These don't actually power the doorbell. They just, when you press the ring button on the doorbell, it's just going to connect the circuit and cause that solenoid to fire. So with those slid in, Tighten them down. Back on. And click continue. You'll attach the back plate. So this is where that second bag of screws comes into play. You'll screw those in, and then you will connect this to the back plate. I don't want to open these screws because I'm about to take this off and just mount this to there to show you. But once you've done that, you snap on the camera, you power it back on, you're good, and you test out the doorbell. So I said I would go back and tell you show you if you're not using the angle mount there. So we're going to move this real quick. To remove the angle mount. Alright, so with the angle mount removed, you have to figure out how to get those back into the wall here. I recommend doing one at a time. It's gonna look something like that. You're just gonna have those two sticking out. So when you're just using the flush mount, it's gonna have you use the template. The template lines up with these holes here, which also line up with the holes that we screwed for our angle mount. But if you weren't doing it that method, you just put this over, use the 3/32 to drill your holes, or the 5/16 depending on what you're drilling into. Then you take this guy, and before you attach it, you have to put these back on. You hold it sideways, it gives you some leverage there. Or hold it sideways, gives you some wiggle room to work with. Slide those back on. Tighten them down. Swing this back around. And you're going to have to wiggle the wires back through, and then get lined up with your holes there. So once you're lined up, you can start one screw by hand, start the other screw by hand. Let's kind of screw it down all the way. So it's having a little gap back there won't impact the weather resistance. So now that that is on, we has us angle it. So the doorbell has this lip here that you need to slide this into. There we go. So now it's anchored on there, it's not going to come off. I press the doorbell button while I was getting it anchored there. So if you want to remove the doorbell, they provide this key. You just take and shove in the bottom on the gray, and it comes off. If you don't keep track of this, like I suspect most people do, you just grab a flathead screwdriver and do the same thing. It'll come right off. You just need a skinny flat object that's hard enough to press it up. We're just going to check your wireless connection once everything's mounted. And once you're done, you're connected, you're good. You can press this to test the doorbell. Obviously this isn't connected to my real doorbell, but if your doorbell was working before, this should be good. If you have any more questions about the setup, how to use it, or anything about the Blink ecosystem, drop a comment, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Alright, once you've got it all set up on the mount there, it's going to ask you if you have a mechanical or digital. So it will test it out, simulate doorbell press. If you have a digital one, test it out that way. So these will change how long it connects to the doorbell. If it's not long enough, it'll make it longer. If it's too long, it'll make it shorter. If it sounds good, you'll say, sounds good. I don't have any power connected, so I wonder how this power analysis is gonna go. It doesn't give you any results. But it's tweaking some stuff in the doorbell there. And with that, you are done. And you can go into location setup. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.